had a pretty good job, married, 4 kids, living our all-American dream, I guess you could say. And I had struggled with opioid use disorder following a surgery that I quickly learned the pain medications helped with my emotional and mental health issues, and started to self-medicate, and was arrested for prescription fraud, forgery, and robbery, and sentenced to 14 years in the Department of Corrections. And that was my first interaction with the criminal justice system. It was a pretty heavy hit. What happened for me is when they were checking me in, they were asking me all of the questions, and I definitely was open and explaining the medications that I was on, and there was some laughter from the staff person checking me in, because she said that I was definitely not going to be maintaining those prescriptions. And so I kind of knew that going in with some of the meds that I wouldn't likely be able to continue them. And so I went into a severe state of depression and detox, and ended up on suicide watch. I was immediately taken off all of my meds. Once I moved to the Department of Corrections, I had already heard all of the horror stories in the jail about how if I identified as needing mental health help or got remotely flagged as being suicidal, that I would be put into segregation. And so at the Department of Corrections level, I made sure that they checked all the boxes that would leave me with as much freedom as possible, which meant no mental health help or substance use help, and no medications. It just felt and seemed useless to even try. I'm doing amazing. I'm 11 years post-incarceration, coming up on 11 years post-incarceration, and I have taken that entire experience, and I use that to drive the passion of what I get to do today, because it makes no sense that we send people for the criminal justice system to be rehabilitated, provide no rehabilitation for many of them, and then send them back into the community. The community doesn't want them, and then they go right back into the criminal justice system, and it's extremely expensive. And like my heart and my advocacy is, how are we changing at that system? We need to interrupt that cycle. So I'm doing great, but I would like to see some changes. I just needed treatment. I needed someone to come in and step into my situation and explain to me what was happening and help me figure out a solution. The criminal justice system isn't where people need to be who have mental health and substance use challenges, that they're not getting the treatment that they need while they're there. And unfortunately, I think the broader general community believes that we are sending people out of our community and it's keeping our public safe. And then what they fail to realize is that more than 90% of those people will come back into the community, but people are not being rehabilitated in the criminal justice system. They are being traumatized and quite often coming back in worse conditions than they went in. People are coming back into our communities worse than they went in, and they're not getting the treatment that they need. Policymakers need to hear those stories so that they understand the impact of the policies that they're making. I will not be overlooked.